guys, how's it going? Thanks for watching Minnesota Elite Outdoors, and today we're going to do an actual informational video about drop shotting. Unlike my last video that I uploaded, where it said I would and I didn't really talk about it that much, I apologize for that. So now we're actually going to start filming more informational videos. So this is our first one. We do drop shotting. Hope you guys learned something and stay tuned for some good tips. Okay, first off, I'm talking about the gear I'm using. This is a number 8 tackles rod and number 8 tackle reel. This is a pretty cool setup, rod and reel, for the price you get. This is a good beginner drop shotting rod because you don't have to spend too much, and it's still a good high quality rod. So the rod, this is a 7-foot medium power fast action rod, so you have that real nice light tip so you can feel the bite with the drop shot, and so you can move those little baits around without having to drag your weight everywhere. And the reel, I don't even know what this reel is for. It doesn't really matter, the reel, too much for like gear ratio. It's not like a bait caster. But the line, I have a 15-pound Power Pro braid backing, and I have a 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader. The hook I'm using, this is not a normal drop shot hook, but I like these for better hookups. This is a wacky hook. This is a 1/0 wacky hook by VMC. A little extra big so you can get better hookups. I think so. They work good for me. And I'm using a 1/4 ounce ball weight to keep this bait down in this fast moving water. Okay, now we're going to talk about the baits I like to use. The first bait, this is in the wrong package. I have a old pack of Cincos. This is Zoom Super Salty Flukes. I think these are the Fluke Juniors. Well, these are different looking flukes. But you just nose hook this thing and you kind of work it like a fluke and it just kind of moves around. It's kind of a minnow presentation. Minnow. Okay, so the next bait we have, which this might come to surprise for some people. Stick bait, or Cinco. Wacky rig this, and the reason why I do this is because it keeps it in one spot when you twitch it. It keeps it in the strike zone, so it's not floating around, so you don't have to fish it weighted and just sink. So it still has that weightless Cinco action. It's just holding in one spot, which I think is deadly for finicky fish. Next bait, which is probably one of my favorite ones. I like them all. They're all my favorite. Is the cane stick, which I talked about in my last video. This is, I think, I don't know how long it is. It's like 4.5. It's like a 4.5 inch wacky hook. I mean wacky bait. I think I called it a wacky hook in my last one too. But anyways, and you just wacky rig this sucker, and it just slides like a normal wacky rig. Basically same thing as Cinco, but just a little bit more finesse presentation. I think a little better scent too. Bait that I was using in this video, of course, the Lunker Hunt Bento baits. These little tiny drop shot baits. This is the iCast soft bait winner. I don't know if it was last year, this year anyways. Picked it up just as impulse buy. But no, works pretty good. It's killer for finicky bass and dingy water. See, it's really bright, and it has some like flashing things that make it look flashing. Next is just a good old straight tail. This is a bait I got off TWH Tackle Warehouse, and this is a cool drop shot bait. You can nose hook it, wacky hook it, just any different ways. And another, before I leave, forgot to mention this. I'm gonna go over the 3 type of wacky rig hooks that I like to use. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the hooks I like to use. This first hook is a VMC spin shot. 1/0 is just a normal drop shot hook. I like to nose hook bigger baits with these. Really nice. Next one is a little weird. It's a 2/0 EWG spin shot hook. And I use these baits when these just are my finesse ones. I have different drop shot baits, like I'll throw a brush hog on here and drop shot it. I'm fishing a little deeper and I don't want to Texas rig it, and I just wanted that smooth sliding action, lizards and other creature baits. I'll throw this if I want to drop shot them, which I rarely do. And the next one is it's a 1/0 VMC wacky hook, weedless, but I take the weed guards off. The reason I do that is because I think they get in the way. They don't work, so I just twist it and twist it and twist it until they pop off. Or I'll take pliers and cut them off, and I'll use just that hook. And that's a beautiful hook to get when I'm wacky rigging these and the other wacky rig, because they're get better hookups. You just get better hookups with bigger hooks, which I believe. So as you see, when I barely shake my rod, the minnow dances around almost, and that can trigger big smallmouth and even some largemouth bass too. I've caught some big largemouth on these. So the weight stays in one spot, and if you want to move it, just lift it up a little bit. But the weight stays relatively in the same spot, and this bait just kind of floats. Kind of sits there and quivers, and you just kind of move it around a little bit, shake it, but it slowly sinks to the bottom, and that weight keeps him in place. That's how I like to work it, just slowly move your rod. So the reason why I picked this spot for drop shotting, there's a steep drop off, and there's some laydowns out in front of us that I just know from knowing around here and from having boats around here. So there's laydowns in front of us, so I cast my drop shot, I cast it to where I think the laydowns are. I'm pretty sure they're there. I wait till it hits the bottom. You can tell when your slack line stops, and you sit there and just stay when you think you're on it. Just kind of shake it in one spot. Barely ever so shake it, and this thing will quiver, and the drop shot will keep it in the spot. When you want to go a little bit, just pick it up and kind of drag it, and then keep going, and then shake it for quite a bit again. Good. Another excellent spot for drop shotting is around bridges. The bridge pilings hold fish. The current brings the bait fish to the fish. It's just a textbook spot to catch big bass, especially on the drop shot, which catching big bass and spinning gear is really fun. You just throw little bait fish like there, which they're already eating when they're down there. So yeah, this just looks like another normal thing to a bass, and then one thing leads to another, and then they have a hook in their mouth. Thanks for watching Minnesota Elite Outdoors. I hope you learned something. Keep fishing and stay outdoors. This is Ethan Thompson. See you next time.